Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Creativity Cure. It is that time of year again, the most wonderful time of the year, filled with gifts and presents and all of your favorite things. So, what happens if you take away all of those things? What are you left with? You're left with a lot of stress, is what you're left with. So today I want to do a quick journaling series on how we can all deal and cope with the stress of the holidays, which can and should be so enjoyable, but sometimes the stress just takes over and it can really affect your mental, physical, overall health, especially if you're dealing with a chronic challenge, as many of you listeners or viewers are. So I think it's really important to kind of get things down on paper and kind of deal with them. Just look them on the paper, see them on the paper, and deal with them. And I think journaling is the best way to do it. And when I was originally thinking about some things that stressed me out, I realized that a lot of you can probably relate and maybe even have some of the same top 5 as I do. So I made this printout, which goes right into our creative journal. And if you want to see how I make the one and only creative journal, you can find the link below or at the end. I'll put it somewhere, and I'll show you how you can get these printouts, put them in your journal, so everything's nice and neat and clean, and you're all ready to go, and you can follow along with me, or you can just write it all in yourself. You can write down what top 5 things stress me out about the holidays. What are my top 5 holiday stressors? And more importantly, how do we deal with them so they're not really taking a toll and making our otherwise holly jolly Christmas a miserable, soggy mess? And we don't want that, right? Especially in 2020. If you're listening to this or watching this in 2021, you are most likely having a much better year than 2020 was, although it actually wasn't. Okay, it was kind of bad. Anyway, so the first thing I thought of was decorating and getting everything out of storage and putting up all of the lights. I'm getting out of breath just thinking about it. It's something that I like to do. It's something I think looks good. But face it, it can be pretty stressful. So that's my number 1. That's the first thing that came to mind. These are actually in no particular order of most important, least important. So yeah, decorating, and also the anticipation of putting back everything that you brought out. Right? Maybe I'm the only one that thinks of that, but as I'm bringing things out, I'm thinking to myself, I got to put these things back. And as I'm taking, 3 hours to put up a single wreath, I'm thinking it's going to take me probably twice as much time to take this down and wrap it up and put it in a box and put it nice and neat in a way. And so that part is also let's face it, it's has its own little holiday stresses that go with it. There's a lot of pressure. And pressure. Oh, pressure. This one is, maybe I just put the pressure on myself, and I don't know if you guys can relate. It can't just be me, but it's buying the perfect gift. I mean, I guess we all don't. We all just want to buy the perfect gift for everybody. And there's always those certain people that you either want to make sure you get them the perfect gift, or they'll kind of let you know if you don't get them the perfect gift. Maybe sometimes in a subtle way, maybe sometimes in not such a subtle way. So yeah, that is something, and that's something that was actually, when I was thinking about it in my mind, I was also thinking about how I would really cope with it. And that was something I found actually one of the more easier things, surprisingly, to kind of deal with. And something that goes along with buying the perfect gift for everyone is having the money to buy the perfect gifts for everyone. And let's just face it, things are pretty darn expensive. Things are not cheap, and usually the things that people want, or I think they want, or I want to buy them, they are they cost they cost a lot. So you can hear the stress from me just thinking about it. But that's one that was a little bit more of a struggle for me to kind of come up with a solution for. Maybe it'll help me out once I start writing it down. And my last one to round out the top 5 is just the whole planning and the traveling and the kind of getting everything. I mean, it's not like I have a million places to be or to go or to do, but it's just the little things. If you're going to go someplace, what are you going to bring? How are you going to get the presents in the car? Do you pack them the night before? Do you do this? Do you do that? So yeah, that's something that gives me a little bit of anxiety. And if you guys can relate, then you're definitely going to want to stick around to part 2, where I'm going to show you, and I really delve into these. I let these 5 things sink in, and I really kind of analyzed, and I talked to one of my good friends, the therapist. Isn't the therapist always your best friend, right? And read a lot, and I found some pretty good solutions on how we can deal with them. This pen, I don't know. I haven't used this pen it's really cool. It's like a brush writer, brush calligraphy. I must have bought this like 10 years ago, and ooh, it still writes. Look at that. So yes, part 2, we're going to take each one step by step, analyze it, and I don't want to say fix it, but at least have a way that we can have it on paper, look at it when we are feeling these things, go back to the journal, and feel better. So I hope you guys like this. Please subscribe and leave some comments below on your top 5 stresses for the holidays. And give me a thumbs up. I will love you forever. And that's about it. I'll talk to you in part 2. Bye.